Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me for this amazing series, Becoming Unstoppable. Throughout this month, the month of March, we all know it's Women's History Month. And I decided that I wanted to highlight women who are doing incredible things in this world. So every week, stay tuned in. You're going to hear from some amazing women and take away some lessons that you can use on your journey of becoming unstoppable. Today, you'll hear from yours truly, you'll hear from me, and I'll share some tips on some things that can help you be an unstoppable woman. So, what makes someone unstoppable? Honestly, we think it's the big, grand things. We think it's the things that when we get the big award, when we're in Entrepreneur magazine, and that's great and wonderful, but really, honestly, it's doing the right things every day. It's those small things that ultimately lead to that great impact. So when you become unstoppable, you have real strategies that you use day in and day out. All right. Exercise. And I had to throw this in. Everyone knows, as a wellness coach, master life coach, the importance of your health as you become unstoppable. If I'm just being real honest, if you do not have health, if you don't have your well being, nothing else matters. And so I'm not saying go out and you got to run a marathon or nothing like that. If that's something you choose to do, great. But exercise is simple as 30 minutes of activity. It can be just going for a walk. It can be as simple as going for a walk, but just 30 minutes of activity, moving your body, because what that does, that gets those feel good hormones going in the brain that will impact your mood and ultimately affect your productivity as well as a boss woman. Goals. How many of us have them? If you don't know where you're headed, you're heading nowhere. Goals give us the roadmap, determine the things that we do, the activities that we do. We should have a big picture vision. And with that big picture vision, we should have goals that align with us achieving the big picture vision, because those goals hold us accountable. Right now we're in March. It's hard to believe this is the last month of this first quarter in 2024. Many of us started the new year with goals, with this big picture vision. Are you on track with it? Did you write anything down? If you didn't, don't beat yourself up. You could start today in creating those goals that align with the vision God has given for your life. Becoming unstoppable, it requires having harmony, balance in your life. And one of the great ways you can get that harmony or balance in your life is through meditating. For me, I love doing or meditation in the morning. It's just a really serene, peaceful day for me. When I'm able to get that first thing in the morning, it allows me to have just a peace of mind as the day unfolds, because especially for us in entrepreneurship, you just never know. Even in corporate America, when I worked in corporate America, you don't know what a day will bring. You may have an unexpected fire to come up. You might get a vendor who's late sending materials and you're on your way to this big conference. Just all sorts of hiccups that happen in the course of a day. And it's not having those things isn't necessarily the challenge, because life will happen. But how you deal with it, and one of the ways to have that peace of mind, having that tranquility, is starting with having a centered mind. And remember, effective habits develop over time. It's the things you do every single day that will lead to growth. You can grow. Even, I love this picture. One of the reasons I selected this picture, I hope you guys can see it. This plant that grew from the cracks, just literally from the cracks, it was still able to get enough fruit and sprout and grow. We're no different. We have setbacks, and despite those, we can bounce back when we get in rhythm and do those daily effective habits. Developing those habits are game changer. First thing, just being grateful for what you already have. There's things in your life that you prayed for and now they're here. Count your blessings. I know for me, for those who may be new to me, you may not be familiar with my story. Uh, Overcoming systemic lupus after having health challenges for over 10 years. I am just so thankful to God to be in remission now and to have my health and to have well being. Thankful to enjoy time with my family. Those are things that I won't ever take for granted, because I remember being on the other side, not knowing whether I would live or die. So if you're listening to this right now, you're here. You're on this earth. God has you here for a reason. And that's something to be thankful for. Just getting outside, highly recommended. Being in nature, one, you're getting exposure to vitamin D, which, as I mentioned earlier, with the exercise, maybe this is a two-in-one for you. I know for me, when I go walking, I walk outdoors. Nature is going to help with those foot feel good hormones as well. It's going to get you that vitamin D and other vitamins as well. And then just looking at everything in our world, if you take the time to look at it, is so amazing. And you just have to stop and say, oh, wow, God, I thank you. Just so beautiful. I know for me, I live in Arkansas. And so we have the weather changes and we have the leaves turning, and when you just take the time to look at nature, it will impact your mood in a positive manner. Read. I know we've all heard that leaders are readers. A quote my grandmother told me so many years ago, as a teen. I think I may have been a teenager or maybe a little younger. When she told me this, she said, once you learn something, no one can take it from you. So, knowledge is so powerful. When I think about the ban books that's happening, so many Black books are being banned, and you have to wonder why. And when it boils down to it, it's the that information um, unlocks your mind, and it causes you to think about a chapter in our history. And as you reflect on that, it's like, okay, that was where we were then. Where are we now? And what can I do to be part of the solution? And there's some people, unfortunately, who don't want that information taught. But however, when we learn it, there's nothing like it. And as an author, I can honestly say, for me, when I read, it gets my brain spinning. It I think of where the author was when they wrote it, what space they were in, as well as the takeaways. But there's so many benefits to reading. I highly recommend, as we're in Women's History Month, grab a book by a woman author. There's so many incredible women who have written amazing books. Just go on Amazon, or maybe if you know author personally, support them, support their efforts, and then at the same time expand your mind. All right. This is, I'm telling you, before you utter a word, think about it. Think about it. The proverb says, be slow to speak, quick to hear. Oftentimes, when we're dialoguing, whether it's in personal relationships or even in professional settings, we already have on our mind what we want to say, but we're not paying attention to the other person. Give them the respect that they deserve. Listen. That will make a real game changer, especially in professional settings, because once you listen to a person's desires, wants, needs, you're able to come up with a solution that they'll want, instead of just thinking you already know, you will know just by listening. And as I mentioned, you got your goals, you've written those goals down, review them every single day. Yes, daily review your goals. And I'm not telling you something I don't do. As you can see, all the writing you just saw, those are goals. They're because it's the small things. It's the things you do on a daily basis that will lead to your next level. So review those goals every single day. Stay on track to know where you're going, any adjustments you need to make, any tweaks. You may possibly even need to change the goal some. So review it daily, hold yourself accountable to making real transformation. And on this road to becoming unstoppable, you gotta have some downtime. That's really, really important. Our bodies are designed to rest. So find some type of hobby, whether it's for me, I love a good book. That's something I enjoy. I love traveling. So many things that bring me joy. But you find what works for you and make the time for it. Just unapologetically make the time for you and make time for social activities, whether it's going out, grabbing coffee with friend girls, or catching a good movie. But being social, being active, we realize the importance of it now, especially post pandemic. We know that during the pandemic, cases of depression, anxiety, so many other mental health issues increase. And that's because we are human beings. We're designed to interact with others. So get out your comfort zone, spend time with others, find your tribe. And anyone who's here, I'm sure you realize the importance of networking. When you have those goals in mind that aligns to the big picture vision, your vision is, it's a real vision when it requires others. When if your vision is something you can do by yourself, it's not big enough. So through networking, you can support others toward their vision and they can do the same for you. So network, be intentional about connecting with like-minded individuals so you guys can spur one another on to being unstoppable woman. This is so so critical. Your environment, the people that you're around, the people you choose to be around makes a difference in being unstoppable. Are you in environments where people put a smile on your face? Are you happy? Do you feel satisfied? Pay attention to that. Write, make a diary, write your feelings. And people who on a regular basis tend to bring you down, it's time to make some decisions for yourself. But pay attention to the environments you're in and be sure to get that shut eye. Uh, I recommend getting at least 6 hours, however, 8 is even better. But be well rested, and yes, it is possible for you to get the rest you need and still be unstoppable woman. So I hope you've enjoyed these tips and making yourself an unstoppable woman. If you would like to continue the conversation, want to reach out to me, feel free to head on over to my website at CassandraRhill.com, CassandraRhill.com. And as we start this month of Women's History Month, I spur you on to live life on your terms because you deserve it. As always, I'm wishing you much health, love, and happiness. Until next time, stay blessed.